Call the village board meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Will the clerk call the roll, please?
President Weatherspoon.
Here.
Trustee McManus.
Here.
Trustee Wishaw.
Here.
Trustee Pierce.
Pierce here.
Trustee Spillman.
Here.
Trustee Martin. Here. And Trustee Lambrick.
Here. Need a motion to approve the village board meeting minutes from February 25.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved. Is Brady and Devin here? I think I met them both. Come on up here, guys. We have some gold medalists in our audience today.
Medals.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot of medals.
I just meant big boy.
Maybe we'll find
start
out.
out with Brady. Congratulations, buddy. This says Brady Lang was introduced to bowling in high school, one sport activity, whereas Brady Lang was introduced to the Badger State Games by a family friend, and whereas Brady Lang was dealing with a knee injury, is that right? Oh, man. Prior to the Badger State Games, was happily to be able to participate despite his injury, and whereas Brady Lang was awarded one gold medal, one bronze medal, including a high game of 267 at the Badger State Games. Therefore, it's resolved the village board, village staff, and members of our community by this proclamation and acknowledgement recognize the outstanding achievement of Brady Lang as a Badger State Games champion. Congratulations. This one's over. Devin was introduced to bowling in high school also. We'll talk about his big brother Brady. I'm sorry, his little brother. Whereas Devin Lang was awarded 3 gold medals at the most recent Badger State Games, which included a 300 perfect meet.
Pretty good.
Devin Lang was the first individual since 1989 to win 3 gold medals in the same event at the Badger State Games, and therefore is resolved the village board, village staff, and all the members of our community by proclamation to acknowledge the recognition of outstanding achievement of Devin Lang as a 3-time Badger State champion. Congratulations.
Oh.
Take home. Thank you for bringing them. Thanks, guys. Congratulations.
All right.
That's
300 game?
I couldn't even hit 120. I can do that for you.
Might just go in the gutter.
At this time, we'll open the floor to public comment. We barred up the 2-minute opportunity for citizens to voice opinions of the village board. Village board cannot respond as it may conflict with open meeting laws. Nobody signed up, is that right? Anybody would like to say anything? Okay, moving on. Presentation by Stacy Stango. Did I get that right?
Santiago.
Santiago? Pronounce it.
Not that hard.
Santiago, I'm sorry, from SENO
Yeah,
and
you have a-
KLRT Conservancy, about subdivision and easements. Please,
Okay, I was wondering which way was the best way to face.
probably right there, whatever makes you comfortable. How's that?
That'll work. Sorry that you all have to stare at my back. Hi, I'm Stacy Santiago. I'm the executive director of Casino KRLT Conservancy, which I know is a mouthful.
Excuse me, could you pull the microphone? Oh, there you go.
Trying to use my
That's
outdoor
better.
voice, but
Yeah.
this works a lot better. I'm here tonight to kind of catch us up. Us in the village of Caledonia have kind of been partners for a while in conservation and specifically conservation subdivisions. So I wanted us to all get reacquainted. Our board president, Mark Lesko, over here is also here tonight. So he'll be around to also answer questions and weigh in. If you want to go to the next slide. A quick disclaimer about our mouthful of a name. Sino KRLT Conservancy used to be the Kenosha Racine Land Trust, or KRLT, which I'm sure is the organization name that most of you are familiar with, and Sino Woodland Center, which was owned by the Wisconsin Woodland Owners Foundation that existed out in Burlington. In 2014, both of those organizations merged since they had similar missions and shared board members, and since then we've had the combined name, Sino KRLT Conservancy. We do other things aside from land conservation and preservation. Our mission is aligned with, of course, the Wisconsin Woodland Owners Association legacy. So we do some education and promote sustainable forestry practices here in southeastern Wisconsin. And we, of course, also do natural resources and environmental education. Now the fun part. This is a map, now outdated as of the beginning of this year, of our properties, our conservation easements, and the properties that we own. Our easements that are subdivisions are in yellow. Our private easements are in blue, and properties we own in green. We've had an addition of 2 new conservation easements since this map was made, and 1 new conservation subdivision out in Yorkville since that time. Right now, our total is sitting at 24 conservation easements. That includes those conservation subdivisions, and about 5 fee properties we own. So our total acreage now is a little over 1,500 acres, almost hitting 1,600. Our total easements are 13 that are overall public or subdivisions. So in Caledonia, those 13 easements are 9 of them subdivisions. You have almost half of our easements, just a little over. And 4 of them are private. There are some caveats to that, and I have the acreage numbers up there so you have an idea of just how much in acreage you guys have here. The Outlot 4 area of Blue River Preserve, which is one of the conservation subdivisions, is actually owned by Racine County, so open to the public. So that's about 20 acres. And Outlot 4, also known as Gordon Tabor Woods, is owned by Caledonia Conservancy, which is also open to the public for hiking. I got a lot of questions, and I continue to field questions throughout my career about what a conservation easement is. It's not exactly common knowledge. Property is where we start explaining that. When you purchase property, you're actually purchasing a bundle of rights. You can do what you want with those. You can retain all of them. You can sell some of them. I know most people are familiar with that in regards to mineral rights. What a conservation easement is the donation or sale of essentially the development rights for that property, which is then recorded in a voluntary legal agreement, which is the grant of conservation easement that has to be conveyed to a qualified holder. That can be a municipality, like the Village of Caledonia, or a nonprofit organization like Sino KRLT, Caledonia Conservancy, Kettle Moraine Land Trust. Could go down the list. There's quite a few in the area here in southeastern Wisconsin. And we then, as the qualified holder of that conservation easement, have an obligation to monitor it. Now, easements can be pretty flexible documents. They have to, of course, put the conservation values of the property first, but outside of that, the owner still retains use of the land, ownership of the land. It can still be conveyed to heirs, passed along, sold, etc. Sometimes subdivision is still allowed with limitations. Sometimes it is just outright forbidden. All of that is a part of the easement drafting process that the holder will do with the landowner to decide what they want to do. If it's farmland, perhaps they want it to remain farmland. Maybe they want backup plans in case it's not farmed and they want it to be restored to prairie afterwards. Maybe they have woodlands that they've managed all their lives and they'd like it to remain woodlands and be sure that nobody can clear that. We make sure that all of that is written into that document so that it can be that way in perpetuity. Conservation subdivisions differ a little bit and they get a little bit more complex. There's no donative intent, so although the easements are donated to us, the developer does not get the tax benefits that can sometimes come with it. We're also then subject to multiple landowners. All of the easement areas and outlots in these subdivisions are collectively owned by all of the residents. So every resident owns depending on how many homes there are, a 1/40th, a 1/17th, a 1/114th ownership in each of those outlots. And that's why they're responsible for collectively stewarding and managing them. When they're put in place, And originally, there's usually a stewardship plan. We don't usually draft the stewardship plan in-house. We have in the past when we've had an ecologist who's been on the board or on staff to do it. But we usually go to a qualified firm and have them draw up a 3 to 5 year plan that will get things started, with the intent that then once ownership is passed over to the homeowners association will then get an updated stewardship plan moving forward. The municipality for the conservation subdivisions is a co-holder and a third-party enforcer of the conservation easement. So we have an obligation, but you guys have a right to enforce, no obligation. Over the last 5 years, I guess I've been doing this, since 2019. Time flies. I have resumed monitoring of conservation easements, and I think it's safe to say I've monitored all of the easements that are in Caledonia at least once, if not annually, for the last 4 to 5 years. And these are kind of the challenges and issues that I've seen crop up again and again with these outlots in conservation subdivision areas. Primarily, I hear from homeowners associations that it's just down to a lack of funds. Nobody allocated money for stewardship that was supposed to be ongoing or for stewardship plans to be renewed, and now they don't want to set aside the money. They have to repair their septic tanks, and that's where all their money goes. They're operating in a deficit. All sorts of other things that I've heard, which are all valid concerns. So stewardship falls by the wayside. Other things include just having no updated stewardship plan they knew they were going to follow. So why would they had no plan after the 5 years, nobody followed up, and therefore it didn't continue. There's also usually a lack of communication between the homeowners association or real estate brokers who are selling homes in the subdivision about the fact that the subdivision is a conservation subdivision. So people sometimes buy a lot, think they can do whatever they want with the outlot that's behind their home, and are quite disappointed when they find out that that's not the case. And from our end, we often have limited enforcement options. Those enforcement options are written into the actual legal document, but of course, short of letters and more letters and warnings, we don't have a lot of stopovers in the way of enforcing the terms of the easement aside from going straight to litigation. Now, all that to say, there are upsides to this. And in the last few years in particular, I've seen a lot of really nice stories come out of these subdivisions. The picture here is actually from one of the Yorkville conservation subdivisions that installed a bluebird trail that the residents now monitor. Some of these subdivisions, the residents have taken real ownership over these areas. So they've installed new trails, benches, made them more usable for all the residents, stock the ponds for fishing, or even host events and stuff in those areas. And because of this, residents in Blue River Preserve, for example, have felt inspired. So now I have private residents asking for advice on how to complete restoration projects on their own lots that neighbor easements. We also have education opportunities. We've tried a couple times to get out to subdivisions to do things like education on bluebird trail monitoring, some prairie days and things like that, just to get people a little bit more engaged and in touch with the areas that they have in these subdivisions that they're so lucky to have around them. And of course, like I said, it's a space to connect with other residents, have gatherings, do work days, all of that. Now, with that in mind, looking forward into the future, and as we've been doing for the last few years, as I've been monitoring, I've been encouraging our homeowners associations and people I interact with to get back to those multi-year stewardship plans. Now here I have Wooded Valley North, Wooded Valley South, Prairie Pathways, Ponds 1, Ponds 2, and let's see, Woodland Pines, Wooded Valley, I thought I could rattle them all off, Woodview and Parkland, they're my two tiny ones, as our conservation subdivisions. Been slowly working my way through them to try and get all of them a 3 or 5 year long stewardship plan over the last few years. We're getting close. I have some problem children still. And moving forward with new conservation easements, we're trying to make the language in them clearer, which gives us more options as far as enforcement, short of litigation. And of course, we're being more proactive with engaging the landowners and the homeowners and HOA as a land trust. So that means reaching out multiple times a year, kind of opening ourselves up to communication aside from just our annual monitoring visits over what's been going on there and what help they might need or advice they might need for managing the areas. And of course, we'd love to see more co-enforcement. We've had some minor violations in the last few years, a shed that's partially in an easement area, the excessive mowing, things like that that are, for the most part, easy to resolve. I know we've had some co-enforcement from the Village of Caledonia with the shed issue that's going on in Prairie Pathways, and I'd like to have more of it in the future. And of course, looking forward to the future, we want to explore more options for land protection to meet capacity limitations of the area's land trusts. As you know, it's just us and Caledonia Conservancy out here. So with us being the only land trust that's currently taking on these conservation subdivisions and with a staff of 1.5, it can be a little bit hard to keep up with the demand. Are there any questions I
Thank
can
you,
answer?
Stacy. Does anyone have any questions?
Very informative. Thank you.
Yeah, very done, well
Do
done.
do you have any conservation subdivisions? I don't think there are any in Caledonia, but in other areas that have public access in the common areas?
We don't, and I've talked about it with some of them. I have one in Yorkville that used to allow people to fish the ponds, but they were having issues with that, so they decided to close it.
Anybody else? Yeah, Dale.
I happen to live in Blue River.
Hey, nice to meet you.
I'm Dale Stillman.
You're the problem child.
So, is it possible for you to ever come to one of our meetings in the summertime and actually talk to all of our people?
I would love to,
Because
and
everybody is kind of discombobbled with this whole organization of
I
what
have-
we can and what we can't do. And as we change presidents and people on our HOA, things change,
always.
always, as always. That's to be expected. So I was wondering if you're talking our group, if it would be okay if you would come and talk to one of our groups.
Yeah, absolutely. I've attended quite a few HOA meetings the last few years, so the offer's always on the table. I've talked with Mark
Yeah,
Wozecki
Olszewski.
and Shaylee Boar about this before. Last year, just I guess didn't come to fruition.
Well, I'll push for it so it happens. At least I'll
Sounds
try. I'll
good.
do my best to make sure that it happens. 'Cause I know- Ask your question.
Hi, Fran.
Overall, do you find that the homeowners in the conservation subdivisions are glad that they have it or not? Do they like it or do they not like it?
I'd say it's a 50-50 split. Sometimes more like a 70-30 split, depending. I have subdivisions where most of the residents seem to be really happy and really engaged with the areas. And I have subdivisions like ponds that maybe are a little bit less enthusiastic, but they understand the purpose of the areas.
Okay, so I was gonna say, when you come out for your inspections yearly, typically in the summertime, and as you're walking along, we're not supposed to even engage you at all?
No, you are allowed to talk to me.
I'm just saying, that's how it comes out to us.
Yeah.
As property owners. And there's times when you would come through there, it'd be nice if we could say hi and ask you what you think of how we're maintaining our own pieces of property.
I would love that.
Okay, thank you.
Usually I have somebody from the HOA with me,
Yeah,
and
you
I
can
don't
do
know
that.
if they're just like warding people off or something. But
Well, I won't get into that. But thank you.
of course.
I think you touched on one of the issues
Okay, glad
that,
it's not just me.
that go back historically.
Mhm.
And I think as everybody on the board knows, I had some involvement way back then with KRLT kind of thing. And it sounds like the issue is still there sometimes with the realtors. That's not a problem that we can address up here, but it has always been a problem that realtors don't always seem to share the information about what it is, they're selling the house, they forget about the subdivision as a whole. And I think that challenge applies even to our non-conservation subdivision easements sometimes with our realtors. And I don't have a solution. It's just an ongoing thing, but I want to thank you for coming and helping us better understand, because it's got a somewhat tortured history.
Yeah, I want to say too, before my time, 2019, some of the subdivisions, it had been a while since we had a presence out there. So the last few years have been a lot of relationship repairing and building, and we're in a good place now, but we didn't used to be. So I'd like that to continue into the future. And of course, like any good person who has inherited a position with poor succession, we have better succession now. So hopefully that won't be an issue moving forward. But we're trying to be a little bit more proactive. So we have, like I said, a new conservation subdivision out in Yorkville, which also has a conservation subdivision ordinance and intentions to be sure every resident who purchases a home receives a welcome letter and a summary of the terms of the easement in plain language, and things like that, I'm sure will be very helpful.
Stacy, thank you very much. Thank you for both of you being here. Thank you.
No, I had one comment.
Oh, I'm
It was just
sorry,
a-
Nancy,
No,
go
it's
ahead.
just a question. I think you have the rider easement here in Caledonia. Because when you were talking about the easement language, it's one that's kind of interesting, because when the building envelope was defined for that, the homeowner wanted it large enough to have a full-scale baseball diamond in it, and it does.
Okay, moving on to ordinances, resolution 2025-016, approving the adoption of record request fee schedule. This went through committee of the whole.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-016.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was that?
I think it's
Down
Mike.
here.
Mike?
Yep.
Mike's
Me,
alive
it
down
sounded
there?
like you.
Yep.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Wait.
I'm sorry.
I have actually a
I'm sorry.
question.
Go ahead.
Has even passed it, and it already came up today during the course of business. So one of our staff members had a question this is gonna be for Elaine. The part on it where it says that the location fee will not be charged if under $50. That would be 2.5 hours of work that would be unpaid. Is that a requirement by law that we can't charge for that, or what is the purpose?
Yes, that's the threshold under the statute. If your location fees exceed $50, then you can charge for that location time.
Okay.
Yep.
Wanted to make sure.
Are we
Yes.
good?
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-017, approving a request for a building site and operations plan to construct a 13,542 square foot building addition with parking lot modifications to Gifford School, 8332 Northwestern Avenue. Racine Unified School District is the owner. This also went through the planning commission. It was approved 6-0. Can I have a motion on this, please?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-017.
Thank you,
Second.
Nancy. Who said second?
Fran.
I did.
Fran did. Thank you, Fran. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-018, approving a site building and operations plan to construct and utilize a 32-acre private solar utility for the parcel located at 7744 County V. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
Move to approve resolution 2025-018.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Fran and Dale. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-19, approving a temporary use for a 20x40 temporary canopy tent for sales of fireworks and an 8x20 storage container for fireworks storage from June 7th through July 7th, 2025, located at 7952 State Highway 41. I have a motion on this item.
I'll move to approve resolution 2025-019.
And a
A
second.
second. I do have a comment, though.
I think Fran and Holly both had comments. Is that correct, Fran?
Yes,
Fran, you have the floor.
it is. I understand that because this is complicated, because our ordinance allows sale of fireworks, but it doesn't allow possession of fireworks. So the problem is they can be sold, but the minute somebody buys it, they possess it. So I understand that at least I talked to our police chief. I talk to Chris Bosch, who's maybe is better at this than I am, but that's my understanding, is that it's a technical violation. I would like to support this because there's a large fireworks store right across I-94. So to me, it has nothing to do with the likelihood that people will or won't buy fireworks or use them in Caledonia. If this canopy tent, which is a small business owner, so I'd like to support it, if he's not there, the same people that want the fireworks are just going to go across the road and buy them from the other place. It may be that what we would like to do is to look at in the future, having an ordinance similar to Raymond's, which is where the other fireworks store is located. They have a quite long ordinance. I did look at it. And they require permits. So that when somebody buys from that store, they get a permit to use the fireworks in the town of Raymond. So my suggestion is that in future, we adopt something like a version of the town of Raymond's fireworks ordinance, but that now, because we have in the past granted this, I'm in favor of granting it this time, and then fixing our ordinance.
So, Fran, that wasn't very clear. Are you suggesting that he be allowed to sell
Yes,
explosive fireworks? Is that what you're saying?
yes, I am.
Thank you, Fran.
And that people purchasing them are not in immediate violation of our ordinance.
Would you like to amend the original motion then to include that?
No,
Well,
I don't think,
well-
that's what my question is.
As used? Elaine,
Are you all done?
Elaine, can we do that?
Well, it's my understanding that what is for sale under this temporary use is different from the things that are being sold at the fireworks store in Raymond,
Right.
in terms of the type of those being more explosive fireworks, where these are more novelty that fall within the definitions of what's allowable under our fireworks ordinance.
Okay, is that what's been
So-
requested, though?
No, I don't think so.
No, this is, I think, just a tent for the sale of more novelty fireworks, not the kind of explosive fireworks that are for sale at the big stores on 94. Their ordinance, I'm very familiar with, from some time ago, is structured differently than
Right.
the villages because it allows for those. And they do sell permits, and they have a location established in the village of Raymond that have set days for you to be able to set off those fireworks. Now, it's incumbent on the permit holders to comply with that regulation.
Right.
So if that's something that the board is interested in looking at, I think that could be directed to the village administrator for a future discussion. But I know your ordinance is structured differently in terms of being able to purchase more explosive fireworks versus the novelty fireworks within the village.
Okay, so to clarify this, are you saying that the particular kind of fireworks that he's requesting a permit for are allowed?
This is just for the tent, isn't it?
My understanding that these are different, and I don't know the correct terminology, and I'm not intimately familiar with this particular application, so I don't know if the, or perhaps Pete Wagner could speak to that more intelligently and informed than I can. But that's my understanding. The scope of the fireworks that are being sold and the type of the fireworks that are being sold at the bigger stores are different from what's being sold from the tent in Caledonia, because Caledonia's ordinance is more restrictive.
Okay, and I'm asking because the person requesting it contacted me and said that he'd been told that he couldn't get the permit because there was an error in giving it last year. So that's what I'm trying to fix as best I can.
I can clarify that.
Okay.
At this time, the applicant has not submitted an application for a fireworks stand. This is just a temporary use, which is the first step to then applying for the application for the fireworks. He can apply for a fireworks application, but what he is allowed to sell is stipulated in the ordinance. So the ordinance governing fireworks, which is what I'm sure Chief Bosch and the Fire Chief can explain more to you, that's where we're coming across some issues. Last year, he was issued the permit, but it wasn't explained to him clearly which items he was allowed to sell and which ones he was not allowed to sell. And our ordinance is very limited in what they can sell.
So I'm sorry, Fran, let me give Holly a second here. So Holly, go ahead, please.
Jacob's in the audience. I think this is Jacob right there. I actually have
Yeah.
his phone, I have a little note out to talk about this today. But it sounds to me like we have to do two things. Today, we've made a motion and approved the placement of the tent, which is what he's asking for early enough, which is good. And it sounds like we need to put on the next agenda our fireworks ordinance to talk about it, similar to what Elaine has just presented to us. Does that sound like? So we're in the first step of allowing them to sell fireworks by just approving this ordinance. Am I saying that correctly?
And staff,
Or resolution, I should say.
staff would need to, or the board would need to direct staff to review the ordinance and make changes.
Do I have
and
to-
we
can
go
I-
over it.
Do that in my, can we do that now, or do we have to do that later?
That might be a good item to put on the next.
That's what I
meeting.
meant. Make, yeah,
Okay.
okay.
But will we do that in time for him to,
Yeah, because it's early. He
Get it.
applied, him and I had a conversation that
okay?
he's getting on this early because he realized this was going to be an issue.
Yeah, I don't know when he has. to
Yeah.
do it, though.
So we're approving the tent, which
Well, but I don't know.
I second and I agree with.
Okay.
So we'll put
All
that
right.
on the committee of the whole.
Everybody agreed? Fran, you caught up with
Yeah.
us?
Yes, my question is of one of timing. I don't know when you have to order the actual stuff that you're gonna sell. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so that's not an issue.
I think we're good. I think we can move to vote.
Move to vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Todd,
What was it, Holly, you were asking for at the next meeting?
No.
it's
So
a committee of the
the
whole.
committee
we
of the
talked
whole,
about.
I said, what we're focused on right now is approving the tent for him
Right.
to just be able to
Correct.
sell them.
But
And
what
then
it-
at the next meeting, committee of the whole meeting, we will talk about our ordinance and what Elaine has just talked about.
Just a discussion item. You're not actually
Correct.
asking for me to have,
You're not gonna write an ordinance in the next week? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay,
No,
thank
just
you.
a discussion, just a discussion, so Fran and I can talk about also what we've talked about with Mr. Jacob here and the concerns, I guess would be
Right.
the appropriate way.
Right.
So come to the next
right.
committee of the whole meeting, keep an
Yeah.
eye on the agenda, I guess would be the
So,
answer.
okay, so
We
we
need
have a motion and a second to approve the
Mhm.
container and the tent and all that good stuff,
Right.
right?
Correct.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, tent's approved. Good. Resolution 2025-20, support single unique zip code for certain communities. I'm gonna make a quick statement on this. This was asked by Congressman Style. He's getting pushback from the post office on us changing to a single zip code, along with several other communities across the United States. So all he's asking for us is a resolution saying we support a single zip code. So I hope
I'll
that's
make-
very clear, because 5 zip codes is too many. So can I have a motion to approve?
I'll
this,
make a
please?
No,
motion
go ahead.
to approve it. Resolution 2025-020.
I have a
Second.
second. I'm sorry, was that Fran or?
Mm-hmm.
Fran? Thank you, Fran. All right, any further discussion on that?
So they just want a single zip code, like for Caledonia, instead of
It'd be a
having like three.
Caledonia only zip code. Mount Pleasant's doing the same thing.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed? All right, so Todd, will you get back with his office?
yeah, I will send his, not legislative page or whatever,
Yeah.
but I'll send him a copy of the resolution and a letter, stating the support
Thank
as
you,
they
Todd.
asked.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2025-21, approving a wage increase for Walter Laniger, I'm sorry, Walt, as a newly appointed fire chief for the village of Caledonia. Have a
Make a
motion?
motion to approve resolution
We're all jumping on it.
2025-021.
You can second
Second.
it. We'll all second it.
I beat you.
Unanimous motion.
Nobody vote against, he's sitting here listening to it.
And our houses
All in
can
favor,
catch
say
fire.
Aye.
Opposed? There you go, Walt.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
New business, AP checks, Mr. Wishaw, please.
Mr. President, I move to approve the following AP checks totaling to $1,746,574.67.
Have a second, please.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Thank you, Lee. Continuing business, resolution 2025-013, approving a budget amendment authorizing the Village of Caledonia to enter an agreement with traffic analysis study speed limit on 4 Mile Road. Holly, did you want to make a motion on
Approve it. Wait, I thought we were talking,
this? We're gonna lay this over.
yes, oh, sorry. Motion to lay it over. to the next meeting? Sorry, it's
No.
been a really long.
I think we'll table it till, about a year from now. Is that all right?
Just table it.
Just
If you-
table
If you
it.
just table it and it will just remain on the calendar that we have internally, we'll get it back.
All right, thank you. So we're gonna table this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table. All in favor, say aye.
For a year?
Aye. No, just
Okay.
leave it on the
I was
table.
gonna
We'll leave it
say,
on the-
I'm not okay
We'll
with
leave it
that.
on the back list, okay?
Yeah.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, is it
Oh,
past 6:15? Yeah.